welcome to the Zoomingghooskpodcast, and I am your host, Dustin DaHusky.
And I'm Kurdan Sourpuss.
Hello out there.
Hello, is anyone out there?
Who else got rained on today?
The whole world.
Yeah, we had some pretty bad storms today. Straight line winds.
Was it?
Something to that degree, because it was actually knocking out power in several parts of the state, or at least in this area.
I was kind of praying we'd lose power at work today.
Oh, same here. Because I just think my company is evil and my boss is a moron, and maybe new opportunities soon.
Oh, yes.
Going to be filling out a job application, and just hope that I get a better job.
What were you thinking about?
Job?
Yeah, what were you thinking about for like other opportunities?
Well, really manufacturing, just to kind of like, because that's where all the real money is out there. Unless you have a degree in IT, which, I'm going to be very frank, I don't have enough time.
IT? What is IT exactly?
Information technology.
Yeah.
I don't have... Yeah, you can go back to school and learn, but when you reach your late 20s, you kind of want to start finding a career that will still mesh well with you. Unless the only reason why you should go back to school is if the industry you're in is totally outdated, obsolete, and you're out on your butt.
And it's kind of hard to determine that even in these trying times of pandemic.
Yeah.
What is going to be a concrete position?
And honestly...
And company.
IT is one where it'll continue to grow, but I have my doubts that it'll be the job of the future. There's going to be different types of jobs in the future will be the biggest paying, and, right now in the past 10 years, 15 years has been IT jobs, software jobs. It won't be long until those become obsolete in another 10, 15 years. I think that certain types of jobs rise and decline in terms of favorability. For a while it was engineering. Now IT jobs pay more than engineering jobs. I'm not convinced IT jobs will stay profitable for the individual for long. I just simply want better pay than what I have right now, and manufacturing is always still going to be here. It's still going to be more automated, but then again, if someone's job at a factory is going to be replaced by a robot, sure as hell, eventually IT people are going to get replaced by supercomputers who could probably do the job better than humans can.
And then you'll need maintenance men to maintain those robots.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I would say the future of jobs would be maintenance at some point. If we all go full electronic or full...
Digital?
Well, not just full digital. We're living in the digital age now. I'm just thinking full-on electrified transportation.
Right.
You need a big enough support grid to support that kind of electrical usage. And you're not talking about... at that point, factories making these machines are going to be well automated at that point. However, when things break down, when things need to get upgraded, that still needs a human connection.
Right.
Maintenance job on the infrastructure will be the new IT job in the next 20, 30 years.
So did you have like any companies in mind that you're looking at, or?
Not really. I just simply want to get into manufacturing and either do assembly work or machine work. Because I wouldn't mind trying my hat at being a machinist. Because right now...
Machinist Hoosk?
Yeah. It's just, now, I'm feeling more and more depressed where I work. I really can't stand my boss anymore. I can't stand his racism. I can't stand his narcissism. And my dad's like, well, anywhere you go in life, you're going to find that. That's
right.
guaranteed.
It's very true. You're going to run into that. I mean, the grass is never greener. I mean, I have people at my store that want to transfer departments or transfer stores, and I'm thinking, it's the same everywhere. You're going to run into that one asshole that you just can't stand. And I guess really, I think you mentioned earlier, what comes down to, I mean, how much money is worth all the bullshit?
Yep.
If
it's 15 plus, you can handle anything, because 15 an hour is actually where everyone should be being paid, regardless of what you do. Unless you're a brand new worker in the world, your first job, you should get paid less to know what it's like in the real world. But when you're an adult, if you're in your late 20s, early 30s, being paid $10 to $13 an hour is piddly kid wages. I'm sorry. It's something that I'm starting to get really old feeling, where you're really, really working hard for your money. And not to say that that's the whole point of working. That is the whole point of working. It's just with the amount of bullshit, especially with your job and with my job, there's not enough money in it to make it well worth it long term. Yeah, if you're only there for a year, then you could really ignore the bullshit and just get on with your merry way.
Right.
If you are trying to be a long-termer at a company like mine, well, you're really devoted at being paid less. And really, your vacation time's the only reason why you're still there. You get 4 or 5 weeks of vacation when you're there 15, 20 years. However, there's not much in terms of pay that really make it worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
You're still being paid $15 an hour at max in my company. Where this company I'm applying, which apparently produces furniture, but it uses both wood and plastic, like high-density plastic, and you mill out with CNC machines these plastic and wood components you assemble furniture with.
Yeah.
Now, to me, that's more interesting because I like assembling, I like playing around with stuff, I like putting things together, I like how things work.
Right.
And especially when it comes to making stuff, then I'm really interested. But yeah, working in a warehouse, there's some warehouse jobs that are pretty interesting. My warehouse job is pretty boring. Especially with a boss who thinks that anything you do can be done faster by him. Where when I leave, if it's this company or another company, if he gives me lip about it, I'm just going to tell him, or maybe I not tell him, or maybe I will just to piss him off, because I don't plan on coming back to this company. You better man up because you're going to be a man down. And my boss keeps talking about how, you know, he does things a lot faster than other people, and I'm not my boss. I'm a different person. Why compare me with you when I can only do the work I can do? I do good work. I do accurate work. I've never been written up for a fault in the 18, 20 months that I've been here. Actually, 22 months. I've been here 22 months. And you know what? Never caused an issue. I've saved the company money, and I still get shit on. And my boss complains that I work slow, even though, for me, I work pretty fast considering my accuracy is incredibly high. You know what? If he claims that he can do the job better than I can and do it fast, you know what? You'll have an opportunity to do so. Because I was thinking of staying at this job for another year, and then around this time next year I'd start looking. You know what? I want to I want to start my dumpster fire now. I want to start my dumpster fire in the next couple weeks to couple months. Because by the end of the year, I really don't want to be at this company anymore. Or if I'm still here at the end of the year, I'm wanting to get a bonus, which is a lot less than what it will be in usual years, and it's been getting less and less, apparently from what people say. And My current company is trying to hide the fact that it's downsizing. It realizes it's not the strongest in the marketplace in its industry. Everyone else is too stupid to actually notice it, and I'm somehow the only one that sees the writing on the wall. Company is not going to falter next month or next year. I'm going to give it between 5 and 10 years that this company is bought out by a competitor that might actually do it better than what it's currently doing right now. Or it's going to fall flat on its face hard.
Or just get absorbed by a competitor and just like merge and then downsize.
I mean, the company's got 8 branches and only 2 of them have an actual warehouse. The rest are just offices. The other 6 locations that we have, we print labels with their address on it to make it seem like we have more warehouses. That's how pathetic this company is. Really feels. The company van is a Chevy Express van. It's the short wheelbase version. And they want to go to a Ford Transit City or Transit Connect van, a compact van. Which, yeah, if you're a small startup company, small van, don't bat an eye at it because small company means small gains in time until you get big enough to where you need a bigger van, right? No, a company as big as this is wanting to downscale certain assets. And I'm already understanding what this all means. My boss thinks I'm a moron. I'm pretty smart enough to understand what this company is going through. Especially with this past year, this company is going to start to really tank as far as budget. But yeah, I'm looking for a new job. I found something that's pretty nice. I'm just hoping I get it, but if not, I'll just keep looking.
Yep.
The idea is to always not give up.
So, shout out to, actually, the Bulge.
The Bulge.
I believe I remember him talking about vermouth during a wine cast. And did you know that vermouth is a fortified wine?
I did not know that.
Best to be drank with a soda water. I'm going to try it with soda. I don't even know why we bought this. I just, on a whim, it just you saw it, and I thought.
I think Alkali mentioned vermouth once.
He probably did too. Yeah.
Mr. Regular from Regular Car Reviews mentioned he's out of vermouth once in a video. Or he's all out of gin and he's going straight to vermouth or something, or it's the other way around. I've always wondered what that tastes like. So we decided to buy a bottle just to check it out.
It's only 18%.
I mean, for me that's pretty potent, and I usually stick to beer.
We may die. We may die.
I like my wines. I like my beer. I used to drink the heavy liquor back in the day straight out of a bottle. Or straight into a cup. I can't do that anymore because I'm actually getting hangovers and I hate it.
No more vodka for this Hoosk.
No. Especially tequila. I get horrid hangovers with straight tequila.
I think almost everybody gets a headache from tequila. Unless you drink the really high quality stuff. If it's low quality, forget it. Bye.
Next time, because I saw the bottle and the back shelf, to get another bottle of Goldschlager. You didn't like it?
I hate Goldschlager.
Aw. I thought it wasn't so bad, but then again, the bottle we had in the fridge was from 2006. And we only had it from, like, last fall or this spring. And we figured, well, the world's ending. We may as well have this bottle of Goldschlager that's been sitting in our fridge for that long.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it aged well, but I thought it wasn't bad.
So, yeah. This episode is not brought to you by Vermouth.
Hello, Vermouth.
Produced and it's bottled there as well. It's a product of Italy. Yeah. produced and bottled in Italy. Yes.
Vermouth Rosso, which I think is red in Italian.
Yep.
Which makes sense because the stuff that came out of the bottle is red, so that makes sense.
Is. Well, it's kind of a brown, actually.
It's almost like a caramel.
Mm-hmm. It scares me a little bit.
Yeah, just smelling it terrifies me. You know what? I'm just going to give it a slight sip.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
It's actually not bad. It's smoother than I thought it would be.
It's smoother than I thought it was, but boy, does that warm your throat a bit.
Definitely. Not bad.
It's not bad. It's actually tolerable.
It is. It's better than we thought. That's not good.
The aftertaste doesn't feel putrid.
Yeah, you don't want to vomit right away.
For some reason, people love it when they drink a bottle of booze and it's got that rough aftertaste of pure alcohol.
I would chase it with a little citrus.
There we go.
Just to neutralize it a little bit.
I used to drink booze straight from the bottle because you know what? There was a time I had no idea how to mix drinks. So you know what? I just drank it straight out of the bottle because I did not know. And simple, Hoosk. Well, over the years, I'm starting to feel a bit more complex or sophisticated.
Ooh, yeah.
Because now I have friends mix me booze because I don't know how to.
Sophisticated Hoosk.
Because I am starting to really hate the taste of hard alcohol.
Yeah.
For some reason, there was an off switch, or like an on and off switch in my head. Now, I can't stand it. Especially with vodka, but vodka's another story, though.
And we're not going to get into that because we've heard it so many times.
No.
I'm going to throw this at you. Complete switch of gears here.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to choose a new species for your fursona, what would it be?
New species, so it can't be a dog by any degree.
Can't be a doggo.
Can't be a dog. But it can be any other species.
Mm-hmm.
Am I allowed to keep my current color scheme?
Of course, by all means, definitely.
So obviously, I like my color scheme enough. What would I be? And if I cannot be a canine?
I mean, what else is there?
I mean, there is yeens, but those are overdone. Everyone wants to be a yeen, and yeens are really cool, but then it'd be another yeen. Bats are pretty cute.
Bats are cute.
I just don't know how that would work with my color scheme.
I'm sure it would work. It would be fun to get out of every other species out there with your color scheme just to see.
You know what? I probably might go with like a reindeer or a caribou.
Good choice. I was thinking deer.
Deer?
Definitely. Deer, or actually, I've already said that I want to do Hoosk. And I do want to do Hoosk.
Aww.
With my color scheme, for sure.
I want to be Hoosk.
I have to swirl too.
Swirling. A loaf that once loafed is now swirling.
Yeah.
And you know what? The second time that goes down is even more smoother.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll try.
I'm actually quite surprised because you know what? Again, going back on the booze, you take another sip of something and it punches you back in the face with alcohol. This surprisingly is so smooth you don't feel that punch at all.
Oh, it's good. It's really not bad.
Okay, you know what, Mr. Regular? I'm taking your recommendation.
Yay. Thanks, Mr. Regular.
But yeah, I think, honestly, would I get a fursona out of it? Probably not, because I don't know how to deal with antlers so well, and I feel like that's just a storage issue that...
You could be a, what do you call it? What do you call a young deer?
A young deer?
There's like a name for it, though.
I have no idea what the name would be, but the ones that
buck.
with...
It's not a buck.
It's a buck.
No, buck's big.
Well, so pretty much
young...
stubs. stubs
you
for
could just
head.
you could have very small antlers.
Well, I think it's just a lot of work, and there's going to be a caribou or a deer out there who's got a suit and say, oh, it's not so bad. I don't know. It's just the storage part. I like to keep my suits in storage because moths. I don't want them to be messing with my suits, so I keep them in storage, and it's good to support your ears in storage.
Can you imagine, though, going from swirl tail to nub tail? And fully exposed butt.
I mean, I just like the idea of just being a total caribou stud.
It'd
And
be fun.
just absolutely just like giant orbs
Yeah.
and a long, long spiky dick.
Yeah.
I will be inside you. Deep.
Yeah.
Inside you. Like a good 18 inches. I think it'd be really cool. I don't know if I would ever do it, but if I had the choice to... I had to quickly change my fursona for a year and had to live with it. And I could either go back to being a Hoosk or keep it as like a secondary look to my Hoosk.
Mm-hmm.
But I would totally be fine with a whole year just being a caribou in art and whatnot.
I think it'd be fun. In other news, your mom, the otter.
My poor mom got stung a lot by, was it yellow jacket or wasp?
Yellow jacket.
Yeah.
Multiple days of stings.
3 days in a row.
And she played it off pretty good the first 2 days.
Got stung the third day.
That pretty much knocked her on her butt.
She took off work because of it.
Did she?
Yeah, she didn't go to work today.
Really? Oh, God. Thank God I came up with or remembered the baking soda and water thing, because her ankle was swollen.
Her hands were swollen. Her wrist when she got stung there, that was swollen from this morning, and I knew because she's normally gone before I go.
Mm-hmm.
So if she was still there, she took the day off because it was probably hurting so much.
Yeah. Well.
Insects are stupid.
Yep, insects are stupid.
Except Uncle Kage, he's smart.
Yeah. Yellow jackets are mean, though. Are there any yellow jackets in the fandom?
If they are incredibly hated.
Yeah.
Or there's some really, really weird, kinky motherfuckers that say, sting me. They're into a lot of pain. That's their kink, is pain.
Being stung.
I do know there is a bee furry out there. There is a moth furry.
The insects are rare.
In this fandom, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's more reptiles than there are insects.
There is, I think, at least 2 honeybees that I know of. That their main personas are a honeybee.
Are they in Wisconsin?
Oh, no, they're all over the world. I think one of them's in the country, and one of them's in Europe. And they both look incredibly good with the way how they do their sona. It just works somehow with the art. Otherwise, most insects, of course, we only know Uncle Kage, the cockroach.
Yep.
So he's really a long time bug furry. So he's really the only one that stuck it out this long being a bug.
That we know of, anyway.
Well, that we know of. And if you noticed, in some of his art, he's still anthropomorphic in the terms of he's got 2 legs and he's got 2 arms.
Yeah.
And an insect is 6 legs. There's one honeybee that does have the 6 legs. So pretty much, I forget if it was 4 legs and 2 arms, or 2 legs and 4 arms. I forget. And the other one is for sure 2 arms, 2 legs.
Yeah.
So really, the sky is the limit. I actually do know a tarantula wolf dragon hybrid.
What?
that's more dragon and wolf, but has like the fuzziness of a tarantula.
I don't know how I feel about that. Tarantulas always creep me out.
It's actually more dragon wolf in look.
You know why tarantulas creep me out?
They're big and hairy.
Not just.
They run really fast.
Do they run fast? I thought they're kind of slow.
They're incredibly slow. However, if you
meander.
spook them, they can go a full foot, just suddenly sprint. And then it's terrifying.
See, that's terrifying. What terrifies me the most about tarantulas is that their fangs unfurl.
Yep.
They tuck it under.
Yep.
They're little chompers.
Yep.
They're little fuzzy little. I don't know what you call them.
I don't know. They're just fuzzy.
They're fuzzy little mouth covers, and then they unfurl the fangs.
Mm-hmm.
That creeps me out. I think they unfurl them.
Yeah.
I don't think they poke out.
No.
I'm pretty sure they unfurl.
Yeah, as far as I know, they're actual fangs, and
I know so many people that own tarantulas too, and they talk about being stung or bit. I guess, is it sting or bit? I guess it's bit. I don't know.
Something like that. I would never know because I've never owned a tarantula.
Yeah.
And if I do, it's staying 10 feet at 20 feet. It's staying 20 feet away from me at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And it would never leave the cage, the poor thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't kill it ever because you know what? At that point, it would be too awful to... See, I don't kill spiders without good reason.
Yep.
However, if it gets close to me to where it's like, you know what? You're asking for it. Yeah, shoe or hammer. Most cases, hammer.
Yeah, don't spiders like, don't they, tarantulas like shed or something?
They molt, yeah.
They molt, that's right. They molt.
It's interesting because they do grow a bit. That's why that they molt, is that they grow a bit. Again, I'm not a biologist by any means. I'm just trying to understand it as a hoosk.
Yeah.
That they do grow a bit each year or throughout a year, and they molt 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
And I know that after they molt, they feel a bit vulnerable because they're a bit soft.
Oh, yeah.
And so they harden up a bit. And then, business is normal for Mr. Tarantula.
Yes. I remember, I think it was a furry somewhere, or just a YouTuber that I followed. I don't remember which. But the tarantula, it was having trouble molting.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Explain.
It couldn't get the old...
It couldn't get its old shell, or I forget exactly what it's called, but pretty much its layer.
Yeah.
It was trying to shed its layer, and it partially did it.
It couldn't get it all the way off, and he ended up dying.
Wow.
Poor thing.
They can live a long time.
Yeah, he even helped it. Tried to help it get the old layer off.
You have to wonder, if it gets to that point, you have to wonder that if a tarantula is on its way out when it's not able to fully do that. Yeah. It just could be a sign that it's aged enough to where it can't fully molt that one cycle. Because eventually you have to wonder how many tarantulas die in the wild just because they try to molt like that.
Yeah.
So you have to just...
I'm sure it's pretty common, or not.
I mean, it's common in old age in tarantulas, I'm sure.
It happens.
I'm sure if you're a young 8-legged fuzzy boy, you probably have no problem shedding or molting your old layer.
Yeah.
But I'm sure when you become a gray muzzle tarantula thing, I'm sure it gets incredibly hard to shed. It may even shed at different points, like your legs, your body, or whatever.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I just don't know enough about spiders because they terrify the shit out of me.
Yeah, me too. I definitely have a fear and respect for them.
Yes, a fear and respect. But you know what's one? There's actually one type of spider I will not kill because they're so cute. It's the little tiny fuzzy jumping ones.
They creep me out.
Oh, really?
You know why the jumpers creep me out?
Why?
Because they turn and follow you, like where you're at.
They're just saying hello.
But they face you.
They do.
Like, I Granted, I love the picture of the little jumper spider that has a little droplet on his head.
Mm-hmm.
It's adorable. But yeah, when they're watching me, when they literally turn and follow me, like there's always one jumper by the door coming into the house.
Aw.
And he try to sneak in, and I'll be like, no, buddy. This is human house. Human and poos only.
Mm-hmm.
And he tries to sneak in, and I have to shut the door on him. Not on him, but I have to shut the door before he gets in. But yeah, he turns and follows me. Like, you can see his little eyes follow where I'm at. If I move one way, he turns that way. If I move the other way, he follows me right with me. Which, that always like confused me, because I feel like other insects don't see us because we're so large in comparison to them.
Mm-hmm.
But they, for some reason, they see us. Can you imagine seeing something as large as us?
With a billion eyes?
No, I just mean, like, say we weren't the biggest, well, obviously we're not the biggest thing on the planet, but imagine if there was something in proportion to us that lived on the planet that we didn't see because it was so big.
I want to say this. I don't want to be a spider-sized human, because that's terrifying as fuck. At that point, just give me all the machine guns, because spiders will not get close to me.
Yeah. I made a thing today at work, and I actually tweeted about it. If anybody follows me on Twitter, what the heck is my Twitter handle?
Kurdan Sourpuss.
Is there an underscore in there? I forget.
There could be an underscore.
I think
don't have my phone on me.
I think it's Kurdan_Sourpuss. But yeah, if anybody doesn't follow me, I'd be surprised, because there's not many people that don't at this point. I'm not trying to like say that I'm amazing or anything. I'm just saying,
are an amazing poos.
I'm just saying all the people that listen to this podcast probably already follow me anyway. But if for some reason you don't, I put a tweet out there. I made an explosion at my job at the Walmarts.
Made an explosion.
Yes. An explosion of corn.
You ate a lot of corn, did you?
Yep, I did.
So it came out like a machine gun.
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord.
No, not that kind of explosion. No. No, just the display that I made of the corn at work.
Which is actually pretty cool, because it looks like pineapples, but
it
not
does.
really.
It's like a very exotic plant that doesn't belong in North America.
It looks like a mix between a banana and a pineapple. It's like, because a banana and a corn look similar in shape a bit, but then also corn's got that husk, which has that rough look, kind of like the outside of a pineapple.
So it's like a pine banana apple.
There we go. You are now coining that term.
Pine banana apple?
We need to sell that stuff, because we could sell $100 per pop.
Could you imagine though? I don't know, pine banana apple.
Pine banapple apple. That is strange.
Yes,
That's a tongue twister.
it is. Something else that came up today too. I think we talked about this earlier, possibly on an earlier podcast as well. But because somebody tweeted something and I noticed it and it just spoke to me. Having normie friends finding you on your social media of choice, which mine happens to be Furry Twitter, but yeah, also Telegram or Furry Telegram, and wanting to just like rekindle some sort of something. I don't know. For me, the people I went to high school with, I never really reconnected with any of them. I've never been to a reunion. I didn't really have the desire to. They all had their predetermined ideas of what they thought I was, how I turned out. And, I don't care. I'm not about getting validation. And most importantly, I'm not interested in hearing about how they have kids and are married and, you know.
One thing that I could care less about is their path of success.
Oh yeah, I don't care.
If any of them had a path of success, I'm not going to deny it. However, I'm going to say, you did pretty good. We're all proud of you. And that's it.
Yep, that's it.
There's going to be some that are going to be so full into themselves about their success in life.
I've done that. I own this many shares of these
stock companies. And which, to me, I'm just going to keep nodding and say, oh, cool. Yeah, it must be great to be a couple $1 million rich. And
not to bash people that play the stock market either. It's just nothing I've ever been interested in. I don't. I mean, basically, it's a higher form of gambling.
Oh yeah, and you can lose a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas
I don't have the money to play with. And that's literally for rich people that have money just to throw around.
Alkalite told me that if you don't have at least 50 grand or 100 grand to play around with, you're not going to really get much farther than you are now.
Yeah.
Would have to be
as far as in the stock market, you mean?
Yes. If you're a millionaire, you may have a good enough chance to make big bucks. You might be able to come out with a few $1 million more with $1 million right off the bat. It's not to say that, hey, you put in $1 in, you might get $3 out at some point in 30 years. However, you're small fry to them. If you put in 20 grand into the stock market, they're going to laugh behind your back. Because they are holding accounts of anywhere from $1 to $20 million plus that they maintain for rich clients.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to laugh at your paltry $20,000 in the stock market.
It's a drop to them.
Yeah, they could sneeze and then forget that you exist. That's why if you really want to invest, get a house or buy a muscle car. Beyond that, if you want to go into the stock market and you know enough to get around and to take advantage of what's out there and play by the rules, you could definitely make big bucks if you really know what's going on. However, any average person like me would never understand it enough to fully take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And when something does go wrong, you owe a lot of money. Frankly, maybe your best gamble, maybe just to buy lotto tickets for 20 years, and you might win some of your money back.
No, you won't.
No. What I'm saying is, you could spend $4 or $5 grand on lotto tickets for 20 years. You might get a jackpot of $1,000. At that very moment, you came on top of something, but in the long-term run, you are still $4 grand in the hole from when you started.
Funny you mention that, because my dad probably won about 1,000 or 1,800
during his whole time
in the 25 years of playing the Illinois State Lottery.
And how much do you think he actually spent in that amount of time?
The last time I checked, it was somewhere around 18 to 20,000.
And you told him this number, did you?
And I'm lowballing it. Yes.
You're lowballing it. Oh God.
I'm lowballing it. Probably maybe another 5,000 or 6,000 more.
And what did he think about that?
He wanted me to stop talking.
Oh, see?
And I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to hear about how much money I basically gave the state of Illinois.
And that money just swirls around somewhere.
Yeah.
See, I only went gambling once.
Me too.
And you know what I did?
Hmm.
I did bingo, and to me that's gambling, because that's $20 I never got back.
Mm-hmm.
However, Me and my good friend Ben Gordy, we went to Potawatomi Casino one night. It was actually on a Friday or Saturday night in 2013 or 2014. How old do you have to be to actually gamble? 18 or 21?
It depends on the state.
Okay.
I know Iowa was 18 for a long time. Most states are 21.
Okay. So in this case, I was,
Probably
I believe,
18.
what?
18, probably. 18.
Could have been. Anyway, Ben had asked me, hey, why don't we go to Potawatomi, play some bingo, see if we win anything? And I was like, you know what? I like playing bingo just to play bingo. But you know what? I thought, well, I'm not really a gambler kind of person. I like to save money. But I figured, hey, you only live once, YOLO. You may as well at least spend a little bit of money just to enjoy a bit in life. Okay, sure. So we get there, we buy our dabbers and whatnot. Which mine exploded in my cart because this was during winter. And I left my dabber in the car, and it actually congealed, exploded, but it didn't get everywhere. It just literally shattered into little ice crystals of ink, which made me laugh so much. So pretty much, the lady in front of me on my table, or that sat across from me, for the 90 minutes that she was there, she won about $2,300.
Wow. How much did she spend, though?
Well, really, I think there are different levels of bingo that you can pay for, that you had better chances. So I don't know. I paid the lowest amount, which was about $20. I was there for 3 hours with Ben. I got close a few times, but never really got it. The lady across from me yelled bingo 4 times in 90 minutes and won about $2,300. And then she walked out.
Wow.
And I thought, well, this is totally based on luck, as it is. Because it's about numbers.
Yeah.
Well, it's also a lot of bullshit, too. And that's the one and only time I ever gambled. It's bingo. It's not really gambling. But to me, that's $20 I never got back, so...
When I went gambling, we went to Iowa. I was 18. The guy that organized the trip probably lost like $400 or $500.
Oof.
I felt bad for him. I actually came away positive.
You actually won money.
I won $145.
What you put in.
Maybe $15.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. So I came out like really literally in the positive. I cashed in everything I had left on me, and I stopped playing.
You know what? Walk away when you're still doing good, because that's how they get you is, hey, if we give someone $100 out of $15, they just got $85 that they didn't have before.
Yep.
They're going to feel lucky that, hey, what happens if I bet it all? What happens if I stay long enough to get $200 or $300 back?
Yeah.
No, you lose it all anyway.
Yep, you would put it all back into the place.
Yep. Whereas if you're winning a little bit of money and you feel like, well, this is something I could certainly use, or you feel lucky enough to where it's time to end it while you're on top, do it.
It's funny, too, because when I won,
Yeah.
an old lady had just stepped away from the machine.
Really?
Yep. Not old, but older, an older lady. And I think she was mad because I won all of her money.
You were the cooler.
I was.
And to think that if you go to any of the slot machines at any casino, because it's going to be full of old people, people that are so desperate to win, they actually will not use the restroom. They will go in their pants. It's actually a known fact that at casinos, They have to clean the seats often because older people wet themselves, not on accident, but on purpose.
They don't want to leave the machine.
They don't want to leave the machine.
Because as soon as you walk away, that's when the stupid thing pays out.
Yep. Even though it won't likely pay out, or unless you're our Chicago friend, who I forgot his name, who was able to find a system to every machine devised, one to every state casino, got banned from every single one of them because he found out the secret to each machine, because it's all a pattern.
Yeah.
He even went to the back room of, like, the mafia. The mafia that owned the casino. They brought him up there and they gave him the money that he did won. And says, hey, pal, I see that you caught on to our game. You know what? Well played. But please don't come back.
Yep.
And there was one time he went to a casino. I don't know if it was in Nebraska, if they had casinos or what, but he went to one place. He immediately got pushed away from the front desk. That the front desk had a picture of him. They knew, oh, it's this guy. He is known around the world for cracking jackpot machines, and he lives in Wisconsin. No, he actually lives in Chicago.
Or did live in Chicago.
I don't know where he is now, but he's an interesting guy.
He is.
It's just that it's a shame that I forgot his name. It's been so long.
Yeah.
And he had told me that he had been in a casino for a grand total of about 30 seconds before he was shuffled out the door, because they had his picture on a poster of people you should not allow in because you're going to lose all your money. So he's always hoping that a casino would always pop up that he's never been to.
Yep.
That's the only time he can gamble is new casinos.
Yep. So I have something else for you that I thought we could discuss. Basically, like favorite songs that we maybe heard growing up that have been redone in various different styles. Anything come to mind?
Well, there's actually one song that I always kind of disliked, and not really for any good reason, maybe just the beat. It's not a bad song, I just don't like the tempo of it. And that would be Pumped Up Kicks by, what's that group? It's an indie group, and they had a lot of good success with that song. They were renowned for that song. Follow the People or something like that, or anyway, Pumped Up Kicks is a really cool song. I love the lyrics, but the original song, in my opinion, sucks.
Isn't it Foster the People?
Yeah, it's actually Foster the People. Why did I say Follow the People? So it's Foster the People. The lyrics are great. The song is really about a school shooting of rich people. Or rich kids.
That's fucked up.
Which is pretty fucked up, but apparently it's a really good song. And it is a good song. Just fucked up. Well, I like vaporwave stuff, because I'm born in the early 90s. If you grew up or were born between 1980 and 1999, you were born during the rad period of the 20th century. Pretty much 80s culture definitely spilled into 90s culture, became its own culture, and when 99 came around, a lot of that culture kind of died away because they said, hey, 2000's a new century, let's switch things up with stuff, and eventually a lot of the 80s and 90s spillover into the 2000s was almost very minimum.
Yeah, it was.
So really, if you were born or grew up during these two decades, you were in the pinnacle of pop culture, both in music, style and hair and clothing, and also too just nuances and whatnot.
So, can you explain for people that do not know what exactly is vaporwave?
Really, it's just kind of music of the 1980s. It's got a lot of keyboard, it's got a lot of electric drums, and it's got it's something that I forget, but it's songs that have a step up. The step up in tone or in
Oh,
tune.
Where it goes up
An octave or whatever it's
not
called.
an octave. Octave is when it goes from one pitch to another.
A timetable?
No.
No.
Oh my god. I couldn't think of it now.
Because I already forgot about it a long time
I'm the
ago.
one that brought it up to you.
Yep.
And
But anyway, it's pretty much songs that actually...
changes key. Basically changes the key.
Yeah. It changes up a higher key. And that's supposed to accentuate pretty much the rhythm of the music.
Right. Like if it goes from like a C to like a D minor.
Right. And the 1980s and some of the 1990s had a lot of keyboard in it, had a lot of electric drum, or pretty much acoustic drum.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a distinct sound that only existed in those 2 decades.
Oh,
For
yeah.
the most part in the 1980s, that's where it really came about.
Yeah.
By 93, 94, a lot of that new music built around that form was already dead.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing left to play was stuff on the radio from the 1980s. Well, remixes. Remixes are a thing.
Yep. They definitely are.
While I don't like the original song of Pumped Up Kicks, I do love the vaporwave version of the song, which to me is pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
It's smart sounding.
Sure.
And it almost puts on a different face of the whole tune and rhythm of the song.
Yeah.
Another one would be Somebody I Used to Know.
Oh, yeah. Gautier.
Now, I do like the original version of that song, too.
Going back, though, real quickly to Pumped Up Kicks, I like the medieval
Oh, yes.
version of that song. I thought it was really clever.
And not only did they make the music out of period medieval themed instruments,
Yep.
but they also changed the lyrics of the song
Oh, yeah.
to mimic the time period of English during that time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's fun.
Run, Run faster than my arrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Outrun my bow.
Yep.
So, Bustlin' Boots or something like that.
Yeah.
So they do change the lyrics to make it seem more relevant for the time period, but otherwise the lyrics, the form is still the same. They change the lyrics to change the time period of what it's supposed to be from. And they use a lot of wind instruments and string instruments, but it sounds quite great.
It does. It's fun. I like a lot of the medieval remixes.
Or even Lady Gaga's Bad Romance.
Yep, Bad Romance was good too.
That's a pretty cool version in medieval form that I actually thought was going to be hard to push.
Yeah.
Turned out it sounded great.
It did. It sounded really good, actually. Actually, you mentioned Lady Gaga. I stumbled upon today, by accident, her halftime performance at Super Bowl 51,
Mm-hmm.
which was like, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago.
It feels like an eon ago.
Yeah. Never saw it. I completely missed it. It was actually a really phenomenal live performance. She dropped down from the top of the stadium on 2 wires. I could not fucking do that. That woman's got balls.
She has meatballs.
She has meatballs for balls, because I would not. There's no fucking way in hell.
You would firmly loaf.
Oh my god, yeah. I would be duct taped to the top of that stadium.
So, speaking of 90s music,
Mm-hmm.
I listen to a lot of NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, which explains why I'm bisexual? But anyway, Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way, which is a pretty good tune on its own.
Yes.
It's totally 90s.
It's
Totally 90s.
It's the epitome of the 90s.
It is
almost.
very much the epitome of the 90s.
Or one very good example of the 90s.
However, there is a vaporwave spin on that, and it even sounds better, if I may say.
Really? We'll have to listen to that.
It just, the lyrics obviously don't change. The speed of the actual tune does not change. It's just the instrumentation of the whole song is changed from whatever they were playing before, which, again, it's been a long while since I've seen.
See you later.
We'll talk to you later.
Maybe we should message him so he doesn't try calling again.
That would be interesting. I don't have my phone by me, but anyway. Anyway, I Want It That Way or Want It That Way. I forget what the name of the song is actually called. In vaporwave form, it is really, really rad. Really rad.
I'll have to check that out.
And also, too, Summertime Blues. Or, no, Summertime Sadness.
Oh, God.
Now, you say you hate the original version of that song.
I'm not a fan of Lana Del Rey. By any means.
One day, I was
apologize to anybody who out there who is a fan of hers. I'm just not a fan. But you were saying there's a version of that?
So, in the car, I was playing on a YouTube playlist a bunch of vaporwave mix of existing songs that weren't from that time period. And you recognized the lyrics, and you said, wow, this is actually a better version of the song.
Has to be.
Sometimes there are remixes that are actually better than the original song itself.
Yep. Definitely. One other thing that happened to me today, just before we started this podcast, in fact, I was gathering my treats, my kitty treats, and I dropped a jar of jam.
Oh, yeah.
On the floor, and it cracked, and I haven't broken anything in a long time. So, I'm a bad poos.
Yeah, shattering glass is one of those scary moments in life of, what the fuck did I just do? Yeah. Oh.
Why is it lodged in my toe now?
Yeah, oh.
No
See,
thanks.
if it's one thing, now, if it gets embedded in my skin, I would take tweezers and I will find a way. It will come out. I will repeat. It will come out. The one place I don't want glass to be anywhere is my eyes. It can go anywhere else on my body, and I will find a way to remove said piece of glass. I don't want it in my eyes.
It actually happened to me once.
Oh.
I got a tiny little speck of glass in my eye when I was working for my next door neighbor, in fact.
Oh.
The property manager. There was...
Randy?
No.
What's his name?
Pat and Ernie.
Pat. There we go.
I was working with Pat, and she... somebody had dropped like a whole case of beer. Very sad story. And I was cleaning up the largest pieces of it, and I don't know why, for some reason, something splashed, I think. And I went to wipe my eye, because the drop went, you know, when you can feel a drop of water near your eye, so you just wipe across the whole eyelid, and immediately felt it go in.
Oh.
Because every time I blinked my eye, I could feel it scratching the inside of my eyelid.
Ugh.
It was not great. But thank goodness, eyes are amazing things because they worked it out. I remember waking up one morning and my eye had literally pushed it to the tear duct, and I was able to pick it out.
Yep.
With all my sleep.
Yep.
Within like a day or two, it worked its way over.
Your eyes are your most delicate organ of your whole body because without them you can't see, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
But your eyes are incredibly self-maintenance to a good degree.
Oh, they are.
And that kind of example, like, yeah, you get an eyelid, or you get an eyelash in your eye, or you get crap in your eye.
That's daily for me.
And usually, you hate yourself when something gets in your eye. You fall asleep, you kind of just, hopefully it just passes through, and eventually you wake up and you realize you're rubbing the sleep off from your eye, and you realize the eyelash is right there.
Ugh.
However, some things are very hard to pass through in your eye socket, if you may. So, I used to own a Cavalier. A very rusty Cavalier.
Mm.
So much so that I've worked underneath that car so many times, I know every square inch. Like, I had a nightmare where I was underneath a Cavalier and I knew exactly what I was looking at just from looking from underneath. Like, I know the car too much that I could be underneath a car and I know what it is. And my dad had the unfortunate displeasure of having a bit of rust dislodged from the car and went straight into his eye. Deep in his eye. So much so that it eventually was trying to push its way out. So your eye does know a foreign body within the eye socket. Mm-hmm. It will try to find a way to push it fully out. So it was pushing its way out. However...
How big a piece was this?
A pretty small piece. But rust can be irregular shaped. It may be smooth or it may be jagged. Luckily, I think much of it was maybe 80% smooth. So it was definitely moving around. It wouldn't burrow, but should be good that way. Actually, no, it slightly burrowed into his eye. However, doctor said, you know what? It's no big deal. This happens all the time. Mm-hmm. Pretty much all we have to do is just take a shot to your eye where it numbs your eye a bit.
Yep.
They just slightly...
Which I don't even like the sound of that.
No, I absolutely hate it too. That's why
a shot in the eye. My mom gets shots in the eyes.
She is a brave woman.
Yeah, she is. I can't.
I mean, soldiers are pretty brave, but your mom is like up there for taking a shot in the eye, and she allows it. Me, I just can't do that.
Yeah,
but
she has to look at it coming.
Oh God,
towards her.
I feel nauseated just thinking about that.
Actually, no, I think she looks to the side.
Yeah.
But you can still see it in your peripheral coming at you. No.
But anyway, my dad was able to get a piece of rust removed from his eye. And didn't take long. I think it was a grand total of, I think, 7 minutes. 7 minutes. And much of it was to psych my dad to get a shot in his eye. And as soon as they were in, they say, okay, they peel back the eyelid, see a little bit of rust that just didn't burrow fully in. They can still able to at least poke it out and flush it out. But they were able to remove it, and he was out within a few minutes. It's like, yeah, your eye will feel a little bit numb or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But he had that rust in his eye for about 2 years before he finally taken care of it. And it didn't bother him until I was like, yeah, it's just really making his eye hurt.
Yeah, I'm sure. You reminded me of something else that happens quite a lot. Mm-hmm. And then, well, first of all, you talked about eyelashes.
Yep.
I will do that. I will wake up in the morning, rub my eyes like I do when I wake up, and then somehow rub an eyelash, or 2, or 3, or 7, underneath my eyelid.
Ugh. Yeah, I hate that.
My eyelashes are long, and they sometimes end up under my eyelid, and then I'm wide awake, trying to force myself to blink. That's awful. The other thing that I hate, and this usually happens when I go running, bugs in the eye, gnats, fruit flies, because when they get in there, oh, they panic. And you can feel them, trying to get out of your eyeball. And at that point, I'm just thinking to myself, you know what? You're just going to have to go with it.
Yeah.
Let my eye deal with you. Because you're not going to come out right away.
No. No,
You are mine. I am literally consuming you with my eyeball.
Yeah, the human body is weird in its own way, which makes it a very amazing machine.
Yep, definitely.
Well, I think we've totally run out of subjects today.
I think so. And I gotta sleep. I gotta go in on my day off.
Yeah, he has to work tomorrow, so this is unusual for him for a long while.
Yeah.
Because earlier this year, lots of overtime because coronavirus. He worked, I think, a good full month of just overtime, and I think you even worked 3 weeks straight without a break or something like that.
Somewhere like there. Right now, I'm nearing 10 days without a day off.
Right, so you're in familiar territory, but I'm sure that sucks a lot. But hey, the money is great when you can get it double time and a half and whatnot.
Yep. So I'm going to take full advantage of that for sure.
So in this case, Loaf has to definitely go to bed because, of course, he's working tomorrow. So in this case, oh, I got the hiccups now. That vermouth is giving me hiccups. Well, this has been the Zooming Hoosk podcast, and this has been Dustin DaHusky.
And Kurdan Sourpuss.
And we are very, very warm and peachy from vermouth.
Ooh, yeah.
It's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Not buzzed, but very, very peachy. So, we're going to have a very, very good evening. So, we'll catch you next time.